I wonder why there's a donkey.
If you point on it, what does it say? You just open the donkey. Have no clue. Hi, Stinky. How are you doing today?
I showered.
What about our viewers? Do you showered? Because this gonna be nasty. No, I'm kidding. It's not gonna be nasty.
Well, I'm Jay.
Hi, I'm Marie.
And this is a spooky lunch break. Ah! All right. Today we're gonna hit up Ask Reddit. Marie found a pretty cool question with some supporting comments. This Ask Reddit comes from JHeat008. What is something scary that has happened to you and you cannot explain rationally? Ready to find out?
Curious. Yes.
I live in a condominium and we own 2 apartments on the 7th and 8th floor. The only way to move in between them is to step out of the apartment, take the elevator or staircase, and enter the other one. One night, we ran out of ice cream upstairs. My mom told me to go get some from the downstairs freezer. So I took the keys to the 7th floor's apartment, and since it was dinner time, no one was there. I walked into the pitch dark and realized that someone was sitting on the sofa, so I flipped the switch to see my dad just sitting there. It was kind of weird, but I just went to get the ice cream and asked if he had a key to lock up. No answer. I shrugged and thought, well, if he came in and locked the door behind him, he must have one. Went back upstairs and my dad was sitting there eating dinner. I freaked out and asked, how the heck did he get up here so fast? And everyone told me that he's been here all this time. Told them it wasn't possible because I just saw him downstairs, but no one believed me. Now I never go down there alone. And then they added an edit to clear some stuff. Each of our apartment doors are fitted with 3 types of locks. There's a gate which has its own keyhole and lock. We put another lock in so you don't have to unlock the gate twice. Then there's a door and its own lock. So you need 3 keys just to enter our house if no one is inside. I did get a good look at and it was 100% my father. He's kind of fat and has a serious looking face, so it's kind of hard to mistake him. The apartments are not accessible because not only are they not in the same floor, they aren't even located on top of each other. There's an elevator in between them and they are on different floors. So there's no way for anyone to go up or down without first meeting at the elevator or the staircase. I mean, I was gonna say maybe your dad ran down there real quick to like spook you out or something.
But I like how he described his father. You know, like my father, like I'm totally sure it's my father. He's kind of fat, not really smart. He's also...
Smells bad.
Smells bad.
I was home alone for a weekend a few years ago while I was still in high school. After school one day, I was driving home, and when I passed in front of my house, I thought I saw some old lady in white clothes in my sister's room looking through the window. I thought it was stupid, so I went in the room to check out and what it actually was, but I couldn't find anything. I pretty much forgot about it until later that night. I got a call from a very panicked and scared neighbor saying there was some old lady pacing back and forth in my sister's room. I still have no idea what it was, and I've never seen anything like it since. Sounds like a breaking and entering, honestly.
Or it was Halloween and your sister made a costume of an old lady.
Or a ghost.
I mean, yeah. Last but not least.
I used to work doing maintenance at historic properties. There was a historic house museum I worked at when it wasn't open to the public. It was part of a whole landmark site. There was a visitor center with offices, and then the house was about a half a mile up a dirt road in a wooded area. Sometimes I worked with a crew, but there were a lot of times I was there alone. One winter day, when it was really cloudy and dark, I was working alone to get ready to replace some electric work on the exterior of the house. I went inside and turned off the circuit to the whole property and tested it. It was off. I locked the doors and went outside to work. After about an hour, I got down from my ladder and started walking around the house, and then one of the lights inside the house turned on. I started to freak out, the thought that maybe someone was playing a joke on me. I called the visitor center on my walkie-talkie and confirmed that the only other person who was working that day was still there and hadn't left, and that all the keys to the house were present and accounted for. That's when I freaked out and ran a half a mile up to the office. I made my coworker come back with me to check out what was going on, but when we got to the house, the light was off again, but the bulb was still warm. All the doors were still locked and the circuit was still off. Still gives me shivers to this day.
Suspicious. Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious.
When I was 6 years old, I had a cat named Buster. Buster was actually my stepdad's cat, but because I never had a cat before, I claimed him as my own. Suffice it to say, Buster didn't like being hugged and coddled all the time by a little child, so he hated me. He avoided me at all costs. He was also an outdoor cat, so he would often spend most days outside and then come in for the night. One night, Buster didn't come back in the house. We usually fed him at night, so I was worried. Our area was also well known for an abundance of coyotes. My parents were being a bit hush-hush about Buster's disappearance, but I didn't get the hint. That night, when I was drifting off to sleep, Buster jumped onto my bed. He laid down by my head and let me pet him until I fell asleep. Honestly, I was shocked because he had never done this before. The next morning, I triumphantly walked downstairs and related to my parents that Buster now loved me because he slept in my bed during the night. My parents looked at me inquisitively and sat me down at the breakfast table to let me know that while they were outside the night before, they had found Buster's body in the alley behind our house. They thought that he had been harassed by a coyote, but he was dead, so he couldn't have slept in my bed that night. To this day, I like to think that Buster just wanted to say goodbye and thank me for trying to love him in the only way a child knew how.
That's so sweet.
I like to say I believe in that. I hope that was the case for you.
Cats don't like when you touch them, but if they're spirit of the cat, they can feel your touch, so they can let you do anything.
My family owns a decent-sized horse boarding facility, and when we first had it going, we used to do bed checks as a family. Bed check is just making sure all the lights and fans were off, as well as looking at the horses for injuries and if they had blankets during the winter. Well, we had just got back from eating out, and it was a moonless night during fall. As we stepped out of the truck, this large, light gray mass stood up and took off lopping towards our pastures. It was about the size of a single cab pickup truck. It made no noises other than hitting the ground as it ran. The only other proof that it was real to us was the horses that were turned out that night screamed and stampeded across the pasture it had just jumped into. We did a double count of all the horses that night and not a single one was missing, or at least there's some explanation for it.
So again, they hear how the horse runs straight on them. I'm just losing it a little bit. I'm sorry.
Ghost horse?
If nobody's sitting on top without head, it's totally fine.
Fair enough. When I was in uni, I lived by myself. It was a nice little studio unit behind a house in a fairly decent area. I would honestly think nothing of walking places at night. There was a 24-hour McDonald's and a 7-Eleven that I would walk to, often between 12 a.m. to 3 a.m., since I was a massive night owl. Well, one day after finishing an essay at about 2 in the morning, I decided I was hungry, but didn't really have anything easy to cook, so I decided to walk to the 7-Eleven and grab a pie or something. However, as soon as I opened my door, I was overcome by a suffocating feeling of fear. My heart stopped pounding. I started shaking the works, telling myself that this was ridiculous because I walked out to the street with the intent to still go, but that was as far as I got. I was terrified for no reason that I could understand. Later the next day, I heard about a group of drunk guys that were causing havoc down near the intersection at the 7-Eleven. They'd beaten up someone from my uni. Even though I can't explain it, I'm convinced something bad would have happened to me that night if I ignored that feeling and gone away.
Listen yourself all the time. We say that all the time. Listen your inner feelings.
Yeah, especially if you're not gonna put yourself at risk by listening to yourself. I mean, sometimes you have to take risks, but if you feel like it was especially risky that night to go get a pie from 7-Eleven and you could just go home and eat cereal, okay. Maybe something bad wouldn't have happened to you, but it's better that it didn't, right?
Yeah.
I dreamt I was being choked and woke up to find my own hands around my throat.
I have one dream like that. Not exactly, but when I'm sleeping, I put my arm under the pillow and on top, so it's like this, and sleep on the pillow. And probably my hand fall asleep, so I don't understand it's my hand. And you know, when the hand fall asleep, it's just like really heavy. It was pretty dark, and we have lights outside, and it's kind of bluish light. So imagine me wake up in the middle of the night and see the blue hand that definitely don't feel like mine hand laying down on top of my pillow, just right in front of my face. I freaked out. I started try to run away from it, jump away from it. And when I start jump away, the pillow fall off and I see my heavy hand, because it's fall asleep, start hurting because it start to wake up, you know? And I'm like, scary. It hurts. This like, I don't understand what's going on. And when you sleep, your brain can like really fast figure it out what's going on. So it's like, it feels like it's a little bit longer. It's take a little bit more time. And when I figured it out, I'm just like, that was so silly. You scared of your own hand. That's silly.
Someone had something kind of similar to that dream. They responded to this commenter. I once had a dream that I was fighting in a war and had just taken cover in a little trench when I felt something on my back. I looked behind me and there was a man sitting there tickling my back. I woke up and it turned out I was trying to scratch my back in my sleep. I had a similar but not so similar situation. And I'm a little ashamed to admit this, but I definitely had a dream where I was peeing in a urinal and I ended up going on myself. And that was last week. Next comment. I'm just kidding. I didn't spill lemonade.
It's handmade lemonade.
Pretty sure I lived in a haunted house for a while. Strange things. For one, I always felt like I was being watched in my room. And if I had the door open to the hallway, I would swear I'd see someone walk by out of the corner of my eye. We had 2 cats and sometimes they'd be in my room sleeping and then all of a sudden they would bolt up and stare at the door. And nothing I did could move them for a long time. This happened often. One day in my bathroom, the shelf that had my sister's beauty stuff randomly lose hold of all the items. The thing was the shelf wasn't loose or hanging, and all the stuff had to bounce out of a 2-inch high lid into the sink. One time in the middle of the night, my sister's 100-plus-year-old dresser she got as a gift from our grandma just fell over. This thing weighed a ton and it was built like a tank. Sister said she heard the sound of someone pushing. Mom and sister used to yell at me for sneaking around the house, only I wasn't home or I was in my room. They say they saw a man in shadows that was about my height. One day, we also ran into the old owner and my mom casually asked the lady if she had ever experienced anything in the house. The lady started crying and said no one believed her, but yes, she experienced a lot of stuff. I moved out around that time. I do not miss that place. Do you think old owners have to tell people buying the house that it's haunted?
Honestly, I think if it's actually have history of haunting, you can sell this house much more than just a regular house. Because I think a lots of people who's interested in haunting houses, they willing to pay a lot to have one, to invite tourists and stuff like this. I believe this is a good business.
Yeah, I think it's kind of tricky because like, I don't want to say that I don't necessarily believe, but I don't necessarily believe, right? So you can't really outright prove that the house is haunted. Like, it's not like you're selling the house and saying, yeah, the floor could fall through, but you're buying this house. You know, it's not like something that's quote unquote physically wrong.
But I prefer to know.
Right. But on the other hand, like, if you in your heart truly believe that this place is haunted and you're trying to sell the place, it's kind of messed up. Like, you believe this place is haunted and you're trying to pass it off to somebody else and sell it. Let us know in the comments. Should you let someone know that your house is haunted if you're trying to sell it?
Let us know what you're gonna do. Do you wanna sell it or no? Question.
Well, Marie, that was another fun Ask Reddit thread, Halloween theme that we got into. If you guys have any crazy stories that you want to share with us, whether it's like a haunted house or maybe you avoided danger by listening to your instincts, let us know in our subreddit r/lunchbreak_GSP. And Marie, what else should they do if they haven't already?
You must like, comment, and subscribe on this video. You make us really happy. And we're gonna be seeing you on the next episode of Lunch Break. Bye.
Bye.